What up, fam? It's Lil Vibe back at Web3 Studios, getting into this Soliloquies and LKC story. Yeah, we're gonna dive into track 4, Menace on this one. On the previous one, we was on track 3, Old School, and this one is 4, Menace. A little bit more up tempo, a little bit more aggressive. Man, I loved Axel's. I love his brush on the whole album, so you probably hear me say on literally all of these. I really loved the rock vibes and shit he brought on this one. It reminded me of like that NERD, Pharrell type punk rap, the fusion of the punk rock and rap type shit that I like from Linkin Park and so many artists from upbringing. So this one's Menace, track 4. And as we've been doing, if you've seen the previous ones, if you haven't, check out the link in the bio or description, depending on where you're watching this at. We got the link to the page where you can stream it literally everywhere. Support us. Also hit us up in the shop. Hit us up on our social media platforms, our virtual studio. Right, just tap in with us. And we got this on video and on audio. If you're just checking the audio out, you probably want to check the video, because if you've seen the video, wow, we looking at shit, right? So yeah, let's get into it, fam. So this one, track 4, Menace. All right, as we've been doing, we're gonna start out by looking at the tarot cards and tarot associations, mystical associations that could be tied to this one. Once again, looking at the Marseille Tarot deck, the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, Kim Krans Tarot deck, and Crowley-Harris deck, okay? And so let's go ahead and look at these beautiful things right here. So we have from the Marseille deck, Bow, look at that, L'Empereur, Bow, okay? So you can see it's a king seated upon a throne there. He's got the Maltese cross similar to the Empress we saw, right? So this is like the masculine complement of the Empress. Okay. Wow. And then if we look forward into the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, we see Bow, another conqueror, okay, another emperor, male. So, you can imagine the kings of olden times. You got the Ankh staff there sitting on the throne with the ram heads, okay, the ram of Amun in Egypt and that god and everything there. So Bow got that. And now looking at Crowley-Harris deck. Wow, look at that explosion of red. Once again, you've got the lamb there, which is a complement of the ram on his scepter and the ram above, which you saw in the previous one. Okay, and sitting in between the two rams. Once again, the middle passage there. And yeah, it just looks like a conqueror, right? And then the wild unknown. So how we saw in the Empress, it was a tree. And if you remember, it was like pink and purple around the edges of the tree. Here we see instead the color comes from a sun, blackened sun with red around it. All right. And the tree itself is black and white, so very interesting. The long tree is the emperor. Wow. Let's read, as we've been doing. Well, Mr. Gotta show the top pen, Let's read, as we've been doing. Let me spread these out if I can see them for the energies. Appreciate y'all rocking with me on these as well. If you made it this far into this episode, you're a real fan. You're a trooper. You're a supporter. Going through all this shit. So much love to you. You the MVP. So if you like it, and some friends that might like it, share with a friend. That's how we spread this, word of mouth. Get the message out. So yeah, run it up, family. Much love. Appreciate y'all. Let's look at this. Number 4, Emperor. Okay, this is from, once again, Gary Ziegler, Tarot, Mirror to Soul. Handbook for the Aleister Crowley Tarot. Let's see what he has to say. Keywords here. Once again, I like this because it has like keywords, affirmation, suggestion, all this stuff. I'm not getting paid by any of these people, by the way. So this is out of love. Like all the materials you see here, look them up on your own. All that. None of these people are paying me yet. I don't even know if that would ever happen. But yeah, this is all out of love, man. This is stuff that inspired me, and I want to give back to them for giving so much to me. So please look their stuff up, support it if you're interested, buy it. All the video games and shit. Y'all know what to do. All right. Keywords: Aries, pioneer, discoverer, leader, initiator, creative wisdom, great leadership qualities, urge for action, adventurousness, new beginnings, fatherhood, and authority. Okay, so already there's a connection. This for me. This year was the first year, once again, it's my hermit year. So hermit year, I've been very locked in. I've pretty much been working on this and been working on Web3 Studios, building up, set foundation, just grinding. And also raising my newborn daughter. This is the first year I was fully at home with her for a full year, raising her, and such a blessing. And going through that, it's just a totally different thing. Entering fatherhood, you become like a totally different spiritual entity and person because of that as well. and it just changes you. So this has been my year of like fatherhood, being locked in as a hermit, creativity, building up this company. And so I have some connection there as well. Once again, we saw Aries, the ram and red of the cards. So yeah, let's get into this. The emperor is portrayed as a crowned man in a majestic gown. The globe with the Maltese cross, symbol of imperial dignity, represents the unification of wisdom with worldly mastery. His throne, which glows with the fiery colors of Mars and the sun, is ornamented with the heads of wild Himalayan rams. His scepter also bears a symbol of power and adventurousness. The reclining lamb with the flag of peace represents the other aspect of the ram. The qualities of true leadership include humility and submission to the cosmic law, as well as dynamism and power. A deep understanding and a constant consideration of the will of the whole are also necessary. A ruler with these qualities is filled with tremendous compassion, which will allow him or her to sacrifice the self for the good of the whole. The double eagle symbolizes the inner and outer changes brought about by the creative energy of the sun, and also referred to the emperor's creative energy. He heralds the beginning of an enterprise. So once again, I have ties to this, of course, being an enterprise, Web3 Studios. It was while we had started the company in the beginning of 2022. Okay, so I didn't actually start working yet full time until April of that year. So 2023 is like my first full year of actually working it. All right, so the beginning of an enterprise or a new phase in life. This new beginning may be an extension or an expansion in the realm of rule. Okay, so in the song Menace, we'll get into it, saying I'm a menace, I don't give a damn, I'm a killer. Really, they're just mad I've been getting into the business, right? So there you go, the beginning of an enterprise. Yeah, an extension or expansion realm of rule, dominion, or mastery, or the conquering of new territories, also symbolized by the emperor's legs crossing the form of the number 4. Okay, so that's pretty cool. His legs in this one, in the Crowley, number 4, and also the Marseille, which I know Lady Frida Harris, she referred to these decks naturally, so a lot of that may have translated over, and a lot of it is just, mystical associations and things in the subconscious and unconscious mind that naturally translate, as we discussed in episode 2 with synchronicities and Jung and everything like that. So go back to that episode, look up synchronicities, man and his symbols, Carl Jung, with page 226, ML von Franz. We discussed that. Anyway, moving forward on the material plane, the new beginning may mean starting a promising new project, a change in career, travel, or fatherhood. On the inner plane, new realizations may emerge, insights in areas previously unfamiliar, discs to the right and left with exploding stars or dramatic self-revelation. So my words got a little choppy there. And self-discovery are also possible. As long as the emperor's powers are used for transformation, new beginnings, their effect is beneficial. But beware, using them to preserve the status quo. So here's a tie back to track 2. Going through the motions, splitting quotients, I can keep up with the status quo, right? So there's something there. It's like a tie to that. It's it said beware if you use them. Say I can keep with status quo. So beware to use them to preserve it, but you're not. When used to preserve the status quo, structure of the emperor's realm petrifies. His boldly determined expression becomes frozen. His authority, once grounded in wisdom, expresses as authoritarian domination, living in fear of change. He attempts to nip any rebellion in the bud. So, we talk about rebellions. And once again, track 2, riots and everything caused by the tragic murder of George Floyd and many others, rest in peace to them. Yeah, too many to name, man. So, not going to get into that. And, his authority, once grounded in wisdom, expresses as authoritarian domination, living in fear of change. He attempts to nip any rebellion in the bud. He is then doomed. His own resistance to the flow of the Tao, right, or the way, sooner or later will top his reign. So once again, that's a tie into the Tao, okay? So track 4, tie into the Tao. In the previous ones, we were talking about how in track... Oh, let me find my cursor here. How in track 10, poolside, okay, we have the line, Dauda got me chinging like I'm chingy, got a holiday the inside like it's Christmas with the greenery, okay, and the Dauda from that, as we referred to, was the Tao Te Ching, all right, by Lao Tzu. So we got into that in the first 2 episodes. So let's look at the indications here. It's a propitious moment for change or a new beginning. Trust your own energy, move with it. Suggestion here, I like this: examine yourself critically, especially in regard to your relations with subordinates and superiors. An affirmation here: I trust my power, I rule by serving, I serve by ruling. So this track on the album, it's very rock and roll, very, hit you in the chest, hit you in the face, saying I'm a menace, and just expressing that, the conquering king, the power of that four, setting up the stability, north, south, east, west, up, down, left, right, the four corners, right? It's what it is. So let's get into this. And from this point also, from this point also in the album, I feel like it's very, it gets menacing from this point, and we're like going further into the dark night of the soul. So it also marks a turning point, and when things are getting a little bit more menacing, and harder sounds and everything like that. So yeah, let's get this. Menace. Axel. Salute. Yeah.
Salute. I'm a motherfucking menace.
I'm a motherfucking menace. Woo. Yes, sir.
Saying I'm a menace. No. I guess they saying I'm a menace. No. Guess they saying I'm a menace. They saying I'm a menace. I don't give a damn. I'ma kill it.
Yeah.
Really, they just
Man, I be getting to the business. Yeah.
Spit the shit that leave your facial premise.
Come on.
Be against the world
While I cut the middle fingers, I'm offended. Yeah.
Niggas talking really reckless. Catch me in my feelings. I might
Cop another necklace.
What's for breakfast?
Yeah.
Frosted flakes and lots of fruity pebbles. Never been to war, but I got a couple medals.
From the ghetto. Alright, so they're saying I'm a menace. I don't give a damn. I'ma kill it. Really, they just mad. I be getting to the business. I'm a menace. Spit this shit to leave your facial grimace. Me against the world while I chuck the middle fingers. I'm offended. All these niggas talking really reckless. Catch me in my feelings. I might cop another necklace. What's for breakfast? Frosted flakes and lots of fruity pebbles. Never been to war, but I got a couple medals. Yeah. So that's imagery of like a crowned and conquering king. You can imagine all of that. And once again, the business stuff. New enterprise, okay. Cop another necklace, as we talked about in one of the first 2 episodes. These are all rest in power and peace to them. Deceased family members or like spiritual trips. That's all where all this stuff came from. It's not like I'm wearing a fucking gold and diamonds and shit on me. This is like spiritual shit. It's worth more, honestly, to me. But yeah, man, that's what it is. So catch me on feelings. I'm gonna cop another necklace. Once again, dead family members, and also a reference to me cop another necklace, like a medal. Training jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, martial arts. In tournaments, we get medals. When you place. So it's a reference to that as well. The martial aspect, the art aspect of it, the male conqueror. It ties in there. So let's fucking go.
Let it map like I'm Malcolm, call me Leto. Vibing on another necklace, what's for breakfast? Frosted flakes and lots of fruity pebbles. Never been to war, but I got a couple medals from the ghetto. Middle of the map like I'm Malcolm, call me Leto. Vibing on the track while I'm blowing through the endo.
Alright, gotta break that down. From the ghetto, middle of the map like I'm Malcolm, call me Leto. Vibing on the track while I'm blowing through the endo. Okay, so from the ghetto, let's talk about old school, middle of the map, like a Malcolm, call me Little. Okay, so obviously a TV show, Malcolm in the Middle. Also, middle of the map, like a Malcolm, call me Little. Malcolm Little, aka Malcolm X. He was also born in the middle of the map. Yeah, so tied to Malcolm in the Middle, pop culture, Malcolm X as well, history, pop culture, mythology. Let's go.
Thinking about the days I was growing on Nintendo. Now I'm rapping over samples, sound like from Nintendo. Woo! With the homie, yeah, so that was fundamental.
Yeah.
Money on the way, you can say it to my Venmo.
Yeah, man. Linked up with the homie Asso, that was fundamental. Money on the way, you could say it through my Venmo. Right, linked up with the homie Asso, like linked up with the wheel once again. And then you had thinking about the days I was playing on Nintendo. Now I'm rapping over samples, sound like from Nintendo. So once again, I throw back to kind of like old school as well. Pop cartridge and blowing it. But I was thinking about days I was playing on Nintendo. Coming up as a kid, never imagined none of this shit or shit in the world. And man, it's like now we're here linked up with the homie Axel, that was fundamental. Now we're making this album, So just throwbacks to like the past and where we at now. Let's keep going.
Now I'm rapping over samples, sound like from Nintendo.
Hey, yeah. Now I'm rapping. So now I'm rapping over samples, sound like from Nintendo. When I heard this song, the production on this, it sounded to me like it was a video game. Like I was jumping through like portals or like every time it goes like I felt like I was jumping through something. It sounded like a video game to me, like some Metroid or some shit. So fucking fire beat, man. Fire production.
Money on the way, you can say it to my Venmo.
Yeah.
knocking doors down, rolling through the residential. Working on my sound, think I hit a new level.
Yeah, so knocking doors down, rolling through the residential, working on my sound, think I hit a new level. So obviously the classic hip hop song, knocking doors down. I want to do my little interpretation on that, rolling through the residential, because the music is blaring loud, and like referencing the first track, right? Home, talking about the magician, the fire, rapper, like the flow, so you better paddle on. So, just like, man, I'm rolling through the residential, like, as a conqueror, I'm blaring this music, blaring this album, it's knocking doors down because it's so loud with the truth that's spitting out, and rolling like a menace. So let's go. I say if you rolling with, like, usually you rolling, you got your music loud and shit, you menace to society or whatever, so.
Form and I'm feeling very special, reminiscent of that Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll, through rebel. I'm in rare form and I'm feeling very special, reminiscent of that Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll. Literary menace with this pen and this pencil, cutting outline it any curve with a stencil. Better outline it in that yellow homicidal. Heard the closest thing to being dead is being idle. So I'm steady training like I'm fighting for the title. I'm fighting for my life every time I ride around.
So, man, literary menace with this pen and this pencil, couldn't outline it any clearer with a stencil. Better outline it, yellow homicidal. Her closest thing to being dead is being idle. Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll. It's a bunch of stuff in there, menacing symbology, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, obviously a classic story. And that nods towards the next track, Monster, as well. But it's just, man, it's just all of the, like, once again, more physical sort of aggression or power, and what's often seen as violence. And usually, when we think of our fathers in life, we think of the power, the physicality, and everything like that. And, it's like we usually, and I guess for girls, it's probably their mom, so they usually measure up to your father. How do you measure up? So just all of this is tied in there. And, I heard the closest thing to being dead is being idle, right? So idle hands of the devil's workshop, y'all heard. So that's this is kind of a reference to that. And like number 4, it's not idle, it's conquers, right? So that's where we're at. Let's keep going.
In that yellow homicidal, heard the closest thing to being dead is being idle. So I'm steady
training like I'm fighting for the title. Hey,
I'm fighting for my life
every time I ride around. Oh yeah. Steady training like I'm fighting for the title. References martial arts training. I went hard in that. Trained for 7 years, and took a little step back when I had a daughter and building this business. And that's like a reference to that part of my life. And then training martial arts as a kid. My dad. I'm steady training. I was always training like I'm fighting for the title, but I'm fighting for my life every time I write a rhyme though. So it's also a throwback to like being idle. Like I'm writing these tracks and I'm just going in. I'm just writing all these songs this year, and I'm not saying idle. I'm working, man. So that's just part of where that came from. No idleness, just motion.
In that yellow homicidal, heard the closest thing to being dead is being idle. So I'm steady training like I'm fighting for the title. I'm fighting for my life every time I ride around.
Oh yeah.
I don't give a damn, I'ma kill it. Really, they just mad. I've been getting to the business.
I'm a menace, yeah.
Hit the shit to leave your facial grimace. Me against the world while I take the middle fingers.
I'm offended, yeah.
All these niggas talking really reckless. Catch me in my feelings.
I might cop another next, man. Hey. Got a couple medals from the woo. So that's it. What's for breakfast? Frosted Flakes and lots of Fruity Pebbles. Never been. So what's for breakfast? Frosted Flakes and lots of Fruity Pebbles. Play on words like cereals and shit I grew up on. Also Kendrick Lamar's got the classic song Cartoons and Cereal. Love that song. So we all grew up in the neighborhoods eating Frosted Flakes and Fruity Pebbles or whatever on the weekends. So what's for breakfast? That. Also it's like a play on words pejoratively towards like what we consider derogatory terms. So Frosted Flakes, like older graybeards or white haired people. Frosted Flakes and so like the old guard, right? They were usually fighting against in life to propel the new into the future, right? So Frosted Flakes and lots of Fruity Pebbles, and obviously that is a pejorative play on words with all of the LGBTQ stuff we have and all of the new naming conventions and things. So these are just, once again, this is what I like to do with my art, is blend everything in into what we have. So now we have like all these new personas, all these new identities in the world, all these new people, and it's like okay, what's for breakfast? Like waking up in the morning, it's like what are we out here putting our art towards, putting our energy towards, and we always feel like there's forces against us. So this is just saying like, man, all that stuff for me, in relation to like the relation to society and like all this new stuff, classifications, all these new things being torn us. Like, man, what's for breakfast? Let's eat like breakfast, man. Whatever it is. Brought this place in lots of fruity pebbles. I don't care. We don't get out the way. Never been to war, but I got a couple medals. So, yeah, let's go.
The middle fingers, I'm offended. All these niggas talking really reckless. Catch me in my feelings, I might cop another necklace. What's for breakfast? Frosted place and lots of fruity pebbles. Never been to war, but I got a couple medals. Now it's settled. Pedal to the metal on the way to get the bread on.
Yeah.
Looking at these haters like they dummies, I'm the pedo. I just catch a vibe.
So never settle, pedal on the metal to the way to get the breado. Looking at the haters like they dummies on your pedals. Once again, never settle. We got pedal to the metal. We got drive symbology, like on track 1, home, behind bars, behind stars, and far from home. MPH ticking at same speed as a metronome. Track 11 drive. So once again, on the metal, pedal to the metal. Yeah, let's keep going.
Never settle, pedal to the metal on the way to get the breado. Looking at the haters like
they dummies on Geppetto. Looking at the haters like they dummies on Geppetto. So Geppetto built Pinocchio as a dummy, turned into a real boy. So look at these haters like that. Also, Geppetto and Pinocchio, they ended up in Jonah, in the belly, or in the whale rather, the belly of the beast and Monstro. And I guess also probably references that biblical story is similar as well. And so that's very menacing also, a creation and its creator in the belly of a menacing beast. So very interesting there.
Just catch a vibe and I rap it to the tempo. Leveled up my life and it started with my mentals.
Yeah.
Strife, probably days outside my window.
So I just catch a vibe, then I rapped it to the tempo, leveled up my life, and it started with my mentals. Came up through the strife, cloudy days outside my window. Let's run that back. There's a lot in there.
Started with my mentals. Came up through the strife, cloudy days outside my window.
Leveled up my life and started with my mentals. Let me run back one more. Let's see.
I just catch a vibe and I rap it to the tempo.
So yeah, I just catch a vibe and I rap it to the tempo. It's like I'm just saying like that's a little vibe, like literally like I just catch a vibe and I rap it to the tempo. Leveled up my life and it started with my mentals because everything is mental. So mentalism in the universe and what we think and mind over matter. You see in track 5, mind over matter, metaphysics. That's the mantra, right? So that's part of that.
Leveled up my life and it started with my mentals. Came up through the strife, cloudy days outside my window. Stretching out the money, now it's riding in the limo.
Came up through the strife, cloudy days outside my window. So cloud, strife. Final Fantasy VII, he was one of the main characters in that joint, so I threw a little hip-hop bar in there and a pop culture bar in there to reference that, you know what I'm saying? Came through the strife, cloudy days outside my window, leveled up, like, yeah, let's go.
All this by design, never been coincidental. All this in my mind, cause the universe is mental.
Hey.
I just took my time in the middle of the crisis.
Yeah, so I just took my time in the middle of the crisis. The Dark Night of Soul can be seen as like a time of crisis, okay? And also during this time, I'm referencing like when I was working in the corporate world and a lot of different things and it was COVID during that time. We were at home, right? So it also goes in like track 1, home. There's a lot of like stuff I'm referencing back to in this and also looking forward as well. So I just took my time in the middle of the crisis. So Time Crisis as a video game. If you ever played at the arcade, it's like they got the machines and it has the guns. You point at the screen and you're shooting stuff, the side-by-side gun game machine. So it's like Time Crisis, right? So I just took my time in the middle of the crisis. Once again, double entendre there, referencing my upbringing, playing those video games, violent video games, and me taking my time in the middle of the crisis. And let's keep going.
Niggas know that Lil Robin, night time in the middle of the crisis. Had to let these niggas know that Lil Robin nicest.
Okay, so there's also a line in here as well to former President Donald Trump. It's a bit of a hidden line. But former President Trump, if I remember correctly, his personality card is the death card, Trump, which is 13, and his destiny, which reduces down, 1 + 3 is 4, reduces down to the emperor. So I just took my time in the middle of the crisis, so COVID, Trump was obviously attacked heavily for what was perceived as a lack of inaction, took his time in the middle of the crisis, had to let these niggas know the Lil Vibe the nicest. So Trump, of course, famous for derogatory statements in terms towards other races and things. So this is one reference to him as well. I just took my time in the middle of the crisis, had to let these niggas know the Lil Vibe the nicest. So of course I did it through the music and everything like that, and what we get into now. But that little double entendre in there.
I just took my time in the middle of the crisis. Had to let these niggas know that Lil Vibe the nicest. Spending all their screen time staring at devices.
devices, yeah.
Allergic to the bullshit,
And I'm putting on my blinders, hey. So spending all that screen time staring at devices, two different words in there. 1 minute, spending all that screen time staring at devices, so like phones, whatever. And then spending all that screen time staring at the vices. So it's 2 in there. And I just took my time to mail Christ, allergic to the bullshit, and I'm putting on my blinders. So I'm allergic to all that shit, focusing on this shit and what we built up this year. And yeah.
with destiny, I'm setting my reminders. When I set my album date, you better set your timers. Legend in the making, and I'm spreading like a virus. Speaking truth, the power from the place between my eyelids. Yes, I give a damn, I'ma kill it.
Yeah, man, legend in the making, I'm spreading like a virus. You know, we're going viral. It's gonna blow up. Also spreading like, you know, the energy of the new Eon of Horus of Peru. That's the energy of the child is prevalent, you know, throughout our society. And, you know, speaking truth to power from the place between my eyelids, you know, the third eye and everything like that, where, you know, supposed to be the pineal gland and where we get a lot of spiritual connections to our higher selves and different parts of the grander mystery in that way. Also, Kundalini rising through the spine connects in that. So it's like to track 3 as well. So, yeah, just a lot of little stuff in there and, you know, everything in there, more spiritual shit. So, and, you know, speaking truth to power, spreading like a virus. It's like, yeah, just spreading like an emperor, you know, speaking truth to power and spreading like a virus. So like conquering, you know, conquering like a conqueror. Like you think of like Alexander the Great or Genghis Khan, Napoleon Bonaparte, Julius Caesar, you know, Hannibal from Carthage. Once again, it's like all of these individuals who are conquerors, you know. And Genghis Khan is, interestingly enough, you know, supposedly 1/6 of the population shares his genetics. And there's a famous quote attributed to him saying like he's the punishment of God, and if mankind had not created such great sins, they would not have sent him on the earth to conquer as much as he did in the world. And we're all Mongols now because we have his genes. So, you know, that's interesting. Who's to say? You know. But let's keep going.
Just mad, I've been getting to the business, I'm a menace.
Spit the shit that leave your face with grimace, yeah. World while I chuck the middle fingers, woo! All these niggas talking really reckless, yeah. Catch me in my feelings, I might cop another necklace. Lots of fruity pebbles, man. But I got a couple medals, yeah. Yeah, I'm on the run, hey. Yeah. So, it rides out from there. I'm on the run, you know. Yeah. Okay, see, yeah. So, you know, we on the run, stuff like that. Also, speaking truth to power from the place between my eyelids. That's an nod for us. The next track, Monster. That's right, track 5 on the album. So we get into next, and we'll talk about that. Anyway, this was Menace, track 4. Appreciate you rocking with me. This is Soliloquies, an OKC story. We're diving into my newest album, OKC, which has been entirely produced by Axel with additional audio engineering and production from RJC Productions and P Status Beats as well. And we are Web3 Studios. You can stream the album everywhere. This is a video podcast and an audio podcast, so check it out on YouTube, Spotify, wherever the heck it's at. And get to the link in bio to support us, stream the album, buy it if you're rocking with it and you like the stuff we talking about and you want to help other people, you know, learn about spirituality themselves and have a starting point for tarot and great music, then this is it. So, little vibe that's in, I'm a menace. I don't give a dang, I'm a kill. Yeah, on the next one, track 5. Peace.